For more on the reported Donaire-Bedak fight at pati na rin ang Pacquiao-Bradley 3, kasama natin ang boxing analyst na si Ronnie Nathanielsz. Ronnie, good evening. Welcome back to the score.
Welcome.
Thanks for joining us.
I live here.
You're welcome. You're welcome to say as long as you want. Anyway, unahin na natin itong laban ni Donaire at ni Bedak. Siyempre, itong si Bedak, unfamiliar name sa mga Pilipino. But what do we know of Bedak and what kind of a fighter is he that will match up with Donaire?
Well, si Bedak naman, his big win was in 2004 in the Athens Olympics. He beat Abner Mares.
Amateur pa siya noon.
In the amateur, but Abner Mares went on to be a world champion.
Yun.
Not once, but twice, and he's a terrific fighter. So that counts as a plus for his record. He also fought one Filipino, Ramin Lapu, who was a pretty good fighter some years ago and won by a 9th round knockout in an intercontinental title fight. Now, Bedak fights somewhat like Gradovic. He throws a lot of punches, but he doesn't have the kind of power that can bother Nonito Donaire. So I think from the new Donaire that we have seen, I think with his lethal left hook and his mindset now, I think Donaire should be able to take him.
Ang isang interesting na dito kay Bedak na nakausap ko rin si Nonito about this, he's smaller than Donaire, about 2-3 inches. Nonito said wala pa siyang nakakalaban na ganito kaliit. So, merong sigurong moments na he'll feel awkward and he'll may ilang siya, he'll try to get used to someone that's small.
Well, he fought, Nonito naman laban si Vic Darchinyan. Darchinyan is also very small. He's very short. So, he should have no problem with the height.
Although, ang sinabi lang kasi ni Nonito sa ganitong matchup, he likes to be the counter-puncher. And if you're smaller, normally you're not the aggressor.
Exactly. Yun ang problema nitong laban na ito. Nonito will have to be the aggressor because I don't think Bedak, with the size different and the fact that, Nonito has a reputation, I don't think he's going to be that aggressive. Although his manager told me in a conversation, don't underestimate Bedak. He's a hungry fighter, and Nonito Donaire could be in for a surprise.
Ang nickname nga nitong si Bedak din Mr. Left Hook.
Left hook.
You said Donaire is known for his left hook. Bedak's nickname is Mr. Left Hook, so can we expect a lot of left hooks thrown all over the place?
Well, but Donaire in itong mga laban na ito, the last few fights, TJ, he has developed a very hard, strong right hand. And that's actually the key to some of his recent victories, the right.
Anong mga, aside from the right, anong noticeable changes about Nonito? Why he's become a much better fighter the last few fights since his loss?
Alam mo, si Nonito is now a very disciplined fighter. Dati naman he was lackadaisical. He would skip training when he didn't feel like training. Ngayon, hindi. He sometimes trains twice a day. And he listens to his father. He has a game plan. He sticks to the game plan. And I think the one who deserves credit for all of this is Rachel, because Rachel told him some months ago before his last fight, look, if you don't change your ways, forget it. I'm not going to support you. And he turned around.
So you think he's become more of a professional athlete?
Yes, more of a professional athlete, committed to his craft, and he realizes that without that commitment, wala talagang pag-asa.
Anong magagawa nito for Donaire in the long run? What benefit will this have for him with this new discipline, this new focus for the long run of his career?
Alam mo na si Nonito Donaire, he will not admit it, but he wants to succeed Manny Pacquiao in the eyes and the minds of the Filipino fight fans and fight fans around the world, because he's quite a pleasing, attractive personality. He has a charisma, he's got some charm, and he's got the skills of a really good fighter. He was number 5 in the pound-for-pound dati in 2012. So he wants to regain his standing in the eyes of the Filipinos.
At least in the eyes of the Filipinos.
Yes, because dati naman, after he lost to Walters, they gave up on him. But he wants to come back, and that brutal fight against Cesar Juarez helped him build his stature as a fighter, which is very important.
That's a key thing you mentioned, in the eyes of the Filipino, because in the eyes of the world, it's hard to win 8 titles in 8 different divisions, and we don't see Nonito going up different weight classes.
He has 5.
Okay, right, he's 5, but we don't see him going up in weight class anymore.
Cannot be.
But how much further can Nonito go, and how dominant can he be in this weight class where he's now?
I think in itong weight class ito 122 pounds, he can dominate. I think that's what he wants to do. Dominate, unify the titles, and then hopefully get back into the pound for pound rankings. That's what his aim is.
That's the key. All right, let's shift a bit over now, of course, to the Pacquiao-Bradley fight. The press conference happened just a few hours ago. A lot of talk about the retirement, but let's first talk about the tandem and how these two fighters have evolved as well through the years. Since Bradley Pacquiao too, what kind of a fighter is Bradley now that Manny's going to see?
Well, they say he's a better fighter after he was trained by Teddy Atlas. And they're using his fight against Bam Bam Rios when he knocked him out in the 9th round as a yardstick. But that's not a good yardstick because Bam Bam Rios, when he went 12 rounds with Pacquiao, trained very hard, and Pacquiao had to fight. When he fought Bradley, he didn't train. He hardly trained. And he was nothing. He was nothing, and that's why Bradley knocked him out so easily. So it's not the same fighter that fought Bradley that's going to, you know, who fought Bradley, who is going to be there against Pacquiao. It's going to be a very different fighter.
People are concerned, of course, about that shoulder. We don't know how healthy that is. We know he did not do
what he was
prescribed therapy and treatment. But what info do you know on it now, and how confident is Manny, regardless of what
Alam mo na, if you think about yung mga playing basketball, he doesn't seem to have a problem with playing basketball. And you know, you have to dribble with the right and the left and motion. So, ibig sabihin, by and large, I think he's all right. Okay naman. I suppose that will never completely heal. Because fighters, alam mo na, fighters get into fights, all sorts of niggling injuries. Even Mayweather had an injury when he fought Pacquiao. So, but they do the best they can, and ayos na naman.
Who's hungrier in this fight? I mean, it's a big fight for both these fighters. Manny said, for now, which we're hearing, it's his last fight. Bradley says that he's going to be the best Bradley Manny's ever seen. But how hungry are both of these fighters?
I think si Manny naman is hungry for recognition.
Okay.
He wants an impressive win before he runs for the Senate. Because that will play on the minds of yung mga voters.
So that's part of his motivation?
That's part of his motivations. An impressive performance. So that will carry over to the Senate elections.
Okay.
Now, Bradley didn't want to fight Pacquiao
at
first. He didn't want to fight Pacquiao. He wanted to fight Miguel Cotto. Okay. But this was pushed forward. Bob Arum tried to push Terence Crawford, one of his young, talented, undefeated fighters. But Manny rejected that because he knew Terence Crawford was a difficult proposition. So he settled for Bradley, which I think is the easiest fight for him.
What does that say about Bradley, who initially didn't want to fight Manny? Obviously, Manny would give you the biggest money. What does it say about Bradley in terms of his motivation to fight now?
Well, you see, Bradley naman, he was looking for somebody different. Let's face it. We all watched the two fights. Manny won both fights, although he lost the decision in the first fight. And he won both fights by a lopsided decision. So, ibig sabihin, wala na naman.
Do you think Bradley knows that deep inside?
Yeah, he says he insists he won that first fight.
That's what he's saying. But
that's what he's saying. But deep down inside of him, he knows he's got whipped. So, you know, that may be a motivating force. But Pacquiao said in his effort to hype the fight that he wants to settle the score. Because for the record, Bradley won the first fight. So he wants to win it and settle the score.
But regardless, what should Manny watch out for a Timothy Bradley, who's, you know, he always looks like he's in great shape. He always comes prepared to fight.
Tama ka. He's always in shape. Pero si Manny naman, what he's got to watch is his training regimen. No distractions with the senatorial bid and so on. Just concentrate on training and then hope for the best. Actually, Freddie, he doesn't really need Freddie Roach, to be honest with you, because Manny knows what he has to do.
And he can do it with Buboy.
Yeah, he's a loyal person, so he keeps Bob Arum, he keeps Freddie Roach until his career is over.
Well, we'll see. And I can't leave without asking you your thoughts on the retirement for now.
I don't think he's going to retire.
You still don't think so?
I don't think so. I think, well, if he wins handsomely in the Senate, he might feel, excuse me, he might feel he needs more money for his future political ambitions. So he'll continue to fight. That's my feeling.
Well, we'll see if that prediction, like many of your predictions, will come true. Ronnie, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again soon. Salamat.